I'm gonna bother you for a moment just to comment on the ArtLab experience, and how that was for you as well. This was a new program that we started in January, towards the end of January. Yes, right. Yeah, that'd be about 10 weeks. And the idea was to kind of mimic the process that you would propose the project come to the residency and then have an outcome of an exhibition. But because of the isolation of the pandemic, obviously people weren't traveling, but also, it gave us an opportunity to build a community around the ideal of actually working together in a shared studio space. Like when I was in college, in the printmaking lab, there were always these very large tables, and we would all, work around the tables and, leave to go to the press and come back. But that engagement that we had was really important. But can you talk a little bit about how the process of ArtLab worked for you, what you enjoyed about it, and,
Yeah.
and, how it helped you with your work too?
I loved it. It was fantastic. I think, really, I would say the two resounding themes for me was being accountable. So knowing that each week I was going to have to check in with everybody, post my newest kind of my progress, have an opportunity to talk with people about it, and to, really hear how other people were doing as well. And it's just really fun to know that everybody's working in their own way together on something that they put time and effort into thinking about and really curating in their minds, and then trying to meet the deadlines like we all have busy lives. So yeah, it was fantastic. I loved the energy. My favorite part, to be honest, because I'm painting anyway, I was kind of coming up with this nanny piece already, but it was perfect timing because I was literally just about to start it when you proposed the ArtLab project. But the best part for me, Michael, is, and I know you and I have talked about this when you've consulted with me, but trying to be really clear about what you're conveying in your artwork and being able to talk about it. So, when you're really thinking on a deeper level about what you're trying to portray and what your feeling is and why you do what you do, it's one thing to feel it and to think it. It's a whole nother thing to be able to speak it and then to be able to write it. So for me, that first initial ArtLab project proposal was super important and awesome for me, because I was actually able to take a lot of what I wrote, and I spent two solid days working on my proposal, and it was about, a full page, single spaced long. But I have also been trying to develop my artist statement, and I took some of the pieces, some of the lines and some of the ideas that I had formulated in why I was creating the nanny piece, and, incorporated into my artist statement. And so I think just, we're all here on earth to get to know ourselves better and to learn and to grow as souls. And I think that was a very profound experience for me to have to just really conceptualize why I paint and why I, what masters I look at and why I choose figure painting and why I like realism, and what am I trying to, is it an allegory that I'm trying to express? Is it, where does that come from? Is it a story? Is it a narrative? And so I think just for me, hammering down why I do what I do that was the best part of it for me, because I'm going to be painting that painting regardless. But I think and sharing it with people and watching.
Well, it's that pattern that that, like you said before, you're going to be, at the beginning of it, we all do a 2-minute check-in and about where we are in the process, and what troubles we might be having, or what happy accidents and all these different elements and everything. But like knowing that you have to present in front of a group of people for 2 minutes, like where you are, it sort of forces you to summarize the experience of what you're doing, because you're offline most of the time during the process. Obviously, you didn't paint that entire painting online with us. So it's important, and it gives you a pattern, a way to kind of, check in with yourself and legitimize your practice. And also I think, and the group was here, we only see 5 people, but the group was what, 10, 12 people for this one.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, people were at different stages in their patterns. Like there were some artists who got into week 5, and then there was like a come to Jesus meeting, like, okay, you're not finding your direction. So let's work our way out of that. You know, and so I love being able to meet with somebody individually and say, listen, there's something not happening here for you. What is the block? And, you know, and then, you know, pairing that person up with someone else who might have gotten through that, you know, so that's, I call it the brain trust, you know, it's like everybody in the group it's a curated group of people who all complement one another and contrast one another in different ways as well. So it is a really interesting community. I'm excited because I think at this moment, like I mean, we'll have like 4 of the artists in residency here for Impossible, so that's going to be exciting.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, Hannah lives here,
Right.
and Anna lives here as well. Hannah, and Una's coming, and Alexandra is coming as well. So,
that's amazing.
So it'll be great after a year of like not having artists like physically, you know, in the space like that. It'll just be, I'm just so, I've been absolutely hyper for, you know, a couple of weeks now, just as it's all coming together, because it's so exciting to see the variety of work. And, you know, the Hava sculpture, you're painting, and, you know, I mean, you're going to be in the room with like, you know, Fabian Charisse and, you know, Nelson Morales and Felix Deon and, you know, all these, you know, queer artists, and, you know, Esther with her, she does those, you know, she screen prints on ice and then documents them melting. And so, you know, we have that happening, and it's a really wonderful, diverse group. And I'm thrilled to have you as a part of it. I mean, really, really enjoy it. So,
thanks. I really enjoy the group too. And I think the gay, you know, queer aspect of the group is really wonderful for me. I just don't get a lot of culture in Tahoe, and you know, for me, I have a lot of gay friends, and I really only get to be free and be with my people that way at Burning Man, to be honest.
Right.
That's where we all meet up. So it's been really wonderful to just have that diversity. Like it's just always really inspiring to me, people who are really different from myself. And so when I saw your residency and applied for it, I was really excited about that aspect of it. And it's not really a focus for all of us, but it's just neat to have that automatic built-in kind of uniqueness about people, right? And these people, a lot of, I find that gay people in our society today tend to be a little bit more brave on certain levels, and I like that. That inspires me.
Well, I think because I've had people say to me, "Oh, I'm not gay enough to be in your residency," or you know, or you know, like our visiting artist 2 weeks ago, I guess it was just last week. You know, who's a Seventh-day Adventist, straight but bisexual. You know, like, and ostracized in his community for being bisexual, doesn't get accepted by gay, doesn't get accepted by straight. And, you know, and I'm just like, well, but that's, you know, that's queer is the outsider to me. It's not necessarily LGBTQ plus. I you know, like it is those things, but I don't think the movement, you know, like civil rights movements, I don't think that progresses in a closed bubble. So that's why I like the diversity of our group. You know, I think, and we've been having this conversation recently. I don't know if I think you were there last Thursday when we were talking about the balance of like male, female, and everything. And I'm just like, yeah, it's really interesting because like some of the men in the group are more feminine than the women and some of the women in the group, you know. And so there's like, so even though like technically we don't have like a, you know, there's not like some 50-50 ratio or something like that, and maybe there are more women than there are men, but you know, but there's a balance in the way that the energy of the group flows. So I love how you are a part of that. Like it's just it's all seamless, and that's the idea. Is we just don't focus on, you know, we don't edit ourselves. We don't. If we don't want to use a different pronoun, we don't use a different pronoun. If we want to, we do. We don't, and nobody has to explain anything to anybody. It's just the world we live in, you know. That's it.
That's the free space we're creating for each other, and I think it's interesting. I think twice now it's come up in conversation that even in a very queer supported group, people still want to put people into a category. And I think, you know, with our Costa and Robert, the artists that you're referencing, both of those artists are technically heterosexual. They're both married to women, but their work is very homoerotic. And so I think people want to be able to categorize that, but really isn't that the antithesis of the gay movement? I mean, aren't we supposed to just be able to be free in who we are, and we don't fit into a category, and that's the whole point. So I think it's really important, especially as artists, we got to like expand our minds and let that open, and we don't have to categorize each other in any way. That's the whole point, right?
Agreed. Yeah, and I think we do a good job of balancing that out in the community. You know, it is like there is an intention set there in how that balance develops too. So I hope we're able to maintain it for forever and adjust as things change too. So, but I'm so grateful for you taking the time to meet and talk about this, and I hope it's a good introduction for other people to see your work. Your show will open up on Artsy on April the 24th. The show here in the gallery, which will have this painting in it, will be here live on April 24th as well. And so I'm so excited. I can't wait to see it in person. It's going to be a fun show. I'm just really excited, and I'm very excited about how the residency participation in this was able to evolve in a very sort of intuitive way. So
that's very cool. I can't wait to see everybody else's work. Thank you for having me, Michael.
Yeah, no, I'm very honored to have you in the show. I mean, you're very talented, and I appreciate your presence. So
thank you so much. I'm thrilled. Can I ask you questions at the end? Can we stay on for just a minute?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm so excited that people are coming to be there to paint. Is it like, I mean, how are they going to come and work, or are they just showing up for the show and everybody's kind of hanging out, or?
The idea is to have them here for the show. I can't host anybody because all the spaces are used for gallery exhibition.
I see.
But I do know people who have bedrooms and stuff. So like today I was like talking to Luis about Alexandra staying there. Una's traveling with somebody, so she wants to get her own Airbnb thing in the area. But I think, you know, it's just nice to have people here, like to actually be able to see them after so many months of only seeing people online and stuff. So it'll just be a unique experience. So, and it just sort of like came up organically. Una was like, well, I got my second vaccination. I'm going to be in San Miguel de Allende. So I'll be there for a couple of weeks. So there'll be a good window of time. So I'm gonna, you know, and that's an hour and a half away from here. So, it'll just be nice to have them, you know, around and stuff. I wish it could just be the whole group. That would be like a phenomenal, you know,
I wish it could too.
That would be absolutely an incredible thing. And you know, maybe in the future it'll happen. And you know, I hope you'll come down eventually too. You know,
I'm definitely coming down. I'm kind of regretting that I didn't plan it for the opening of the show. Is it going to be like? Do you think there's going to be a lot of people around, and it's going to be?
I think it's going to be a big thing. Even today, the Toury bus, the double-decker buses that come around the neighborhood, they're all filled with tourists. So, and I went over to Karen Huber across the street, which is a very like sort of upper level painting gallery. I went over to talk to them, and they're participating in Zona Maco also, and they expect, even though with the change in the model this year, they are expecting a good turnout for it. It won't be like previous years, obviously, when things are completely normal.
Right.
But even, you know, like my friend Mario was on a beach in Oaxaca, and he said there were a lot of Europeans there. So I was kind of surprised by that.
Good.
So,
that's great.
So I think anything is possible.
Yeah.
And you know, our new sign. You may not know what PRPGmx is, but if you are looking for us, you could see that sign from 2 blocks away. Like it really pops.
I love your hot pink theme. I love the website. I love your design. I always have, and I think that sign is just killer.
Yeah, I like simple balance and, you know, and the way we developed, because a year ago, well, now it's just a little bit past a year. I mean, we were Proyectos Residencia MX, so it was PRMX. And then at this very time last year, we started the process of planning our first exhibition, and that got shut down by the pandemia for June. And you know, all the movements and all that stuff. But the gallery just sort of developed out of it, because we just always thought of it as, you know, residency projects, and we would do exhibitions in different locations and pop-ups and things like that, but never thought about it as a pathway necessarily. And so the development of that logo and the name of the place just sort of all came together, and it really started to form about 6 months ago in a more concrete way, as I started to realize that the residency was actually an incubator for the exhibitions. Like, because I'm all about relationships. So for me, what's the hardest part about having a gallery of artwork of artists that I don't know is I just don't know them, you know. So you know, so when I have a conversation with an artist, or I get to know them better, even just in one interview, it's like my enthusiasm and my ability, comfort to relate their stories to the people, like to change the context of it, so the person I'm talking to also gets to understand that deeper. And having the interviews and the book and, you know, the YouTube channel and all the stuff is very, I feel like it's a way of telling a story that you don't get when you go into a normal gallery. Yeah. So, you know, when I go to a gallery, generally you get greeted, you know, let us know if you have any questions. The conversations tend to be very court, and the responsibility falls on the audience to really educate themselves about the artist, or find information on them. And some artists are really good at it, and some artists aren't, you know, so good at it. And so I like just creating this sort of even playing field for the viewer. And I think it's really interesting the way, like, you can take that information and, you know, transplant it into your own studio practice. And, you know, so
I got that about you, because I told Brendan, like, it was, and people have been asking me, like, how did this all happen? And I was like, well, I applied to this residency, and at first I kind of, you know, didn't think it was like a little bit of a test run. He wasn't necessarily like, you're in and you want to show a piece, but he was like, come join our Kiki meeting, you know? And I was like, okay, I'm just going to try this. And then I think he got to know me and realized I'm a serious artist, and, you know, liked my work and liked who I was. And I was like, God, that really was like a vetting out process. And I really appreciate that about you, because I'm the same way. Like, I need to know that there is integrity behind the work, you know, like, right. When the minute, like, I see work, I will gravitate towards it. But if there's like a falsity, or if there's an arrogance, or if there's like just like any kind of like soul aspect to the person behind the work that is really off-putting, I'm literally like, oh, you know. So right. I get it. I'm sure for you, being the curator and the gallery, you know, manager, it's like you want to know too that these people are reliable, and that you're not betting on them when they don't have integrity and they can't follow
right.
For you, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I think that's the sort of misconception in the art world, or that we're given by art school and things too, is that, you know, the relationship between a gallery and artist can be an intimate relationship, not physically, but like an emotionally intimate Absolutely. And informationally intimate, and like that relationship, it actually supports one another. So for me, like, working with you is an investment, and it was your work that was the golden ticket. Like, sure. I saw it and I was like, okay, I'm really engaged. I need to know like what's happening here. And then your personality matched very well with the group, you know, because we've had people come in and disappear, and obviously, you know, in some of these, in the process, there are sort of fails